Let's pretend we have a magic wand and we can change anything we want about the way the US government is set up. Let me give you some ideas of what I wish we could change like this. And I want to hear from you in the comments if you like any of these or if you have any to add. By the way, I'm not putting these in order of priority. One thing I wish we had was a multi-party system instead of the two-party system we currently have. Now, I'm not saying go crazy and support Andrew Yang's Forward Party. No. What I'm saying is that I wish we actually had multiple functioning parties and they had to negotiate to create alliances in Congress to move things forward. And speaking of members of Congress, I wish we had term limits for members of Congress, both in the House of Representatives and in the US Senate, and even in local state legislatures. I don't want to see members of Congress who have been reelected 10 times. And on a related note, let's talk about idea number 3, not allowing politicians to turn around, leave their jobs, and become lobbyists to go lobby their former colleagues. Funny thing is that this is something where both Ted Cruz and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez agree on. Yes, this is the thing. Politicians leave Washington, D.C., and then they go get these huge deals with lobbying firms to go and influence their former colleagues. That's definitely something that I would call a conflict of interest. And speaking of conflict of interest, let's talk about judges. Judges for the Supreme Court ruling on cases that involved some of their family members. For example, current sitting Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas ruling on a case related to January 6th, which is an event where his wife, Ginny Thomas, was working with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to overturn the election. Yes, the wife of a sitting member of the Supreme Court was working with Trump's Chief of Staff to overturn the election, and her husband was ruling on cases related to January 6th. That should not be allowed. Oh, and here's one more thing on my wish list. If we're talking about Supreme Court justices, no lifetime appointments. Okay, those are my 5 quick ideas. If I had a magic wand and I could change things about the US government, let me know in the comments which ones of these you like, which ones you disagree with, or if you had any others to add. And remember, I am here to break down what is going on in US politics and make it easier and less overwhelming to follow what is happening. This year, we have some very important midterms. Double check your voter registration at vote.org and make sure you vote in this year's midterms.